In this video, we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is how to build a brand online and why it's absolutely crucial to your success if you want to be in business 5 years, 10 years, even 20 years down the track. Now, before we dive into the content, if you're brand new to the channel, my name is Zach Crawford, and I want to give you a chance to win one of my $1,000 courses completely for free. All you need to do is go below, hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell so you get notified when I drop new videos, and finally, leave a comment below. Every single day, I pick the best comment to win the course. Now, let's talk about why building a brand online is absolutely important. Most businesses don't even make it past year 1. The ones that do survive usually die off by year 5. When I think about my own personal journey, 6 years ago when I got started in business, I literally lived on forums. I met a lot of my friends that were all around the world, and what we did is we created this little group where we each inspired each other to hit our goals. A lot of these guys went on to create successful businesses just like me, but they're no longer in business to this day. The reason being was they failed to innovate. The problem with my friends' businesses and the reason they end up having to go back to a job is because they focused on just making sales. They focused on just selling their product or whatever the actual thing they were selling at that current time. For me, I was smart enough at an early age to really figure out I needed to create a personal brand. I needed to create a brand that could survive and weather the changes. So what I did is I focused on creating that brand. And what I can tell you is my business went through a lot of ups and downs too. In fact, I don't know any successful entrepreneur that hasn't done what's called cycling. That's where basically you go down and then you have to rebuild things. And I had to probably adapt my business at least 3 to 4 different times. But the difference was where I created a brand, I already had an audience that I could cater to. Let's pretend right now you're a Facebook ad consultant. You run Facebook ads for business owners, which I absolutely think is a great business model. Let's say you're doing around 6 figures a year, so you're doing pretty good, you're pretty comfortable, and you're feeling good about your future. Now, let's just say you absolutely crush it, and then 15 years down the line, another platform comes in and absolutely demolishes Facebook. Now, I know right now it might be a bit hard to actually consider because of the fact that Facebook literally owns pretty much everything, but it could happen. What would you do when all your eggs are in that Facebook basket? Or another scenario, what if you are a fitness expert? You're a fitness professional who helps people lose weight and you have a fitness product right now that absolutely crushes it. Then 2 years from now, a competitor comes in and sees that you're absolutely killing it. They see you're running Facebook ads, they see you're making tons of sales, and you're obviously living on top of the moon at the current moment, right? But they see that you are basically selling the product for $97, they decide to sell the product for $47, and they literally steal all your customers. This type of scenario that I just explained happens every single day to business owners. That's why if we go back to that stat about most business owners don't make it past year 1 and most die off by year 5 is because of the fact that they failed to build a brand online. They failed to build a business that can weather the changes. One of the great things about creating a brand is the fact that you do not need to compete on price. In fact, you can be the person that's actually selling the most expensive product and cater to the top percentage of the market. And let's just say the market actually does make a shift. It makes a change and things go down. You can actually make a pivot and literally be back on top again. Now let's go back to our Facebook consultant scenario here. This is something I've seen time and time again. In just the 6 years I've been online, I've literally watched trends of what's the best traffic source, what's the best method to make money online, what's the best guru to follow. It literally changes by the year, if not even earlier. With the Facebook consultant scenario we talked about earlier, right? Let's say that you were dominating with Facebook ads and then all of a sudden the market made the shift, which if you haven't been paying attention right now, it's actually happening. And so if you were actually creating a personal brand, you were creating content, you were building a following, you were helping those people and constantly giving freely, showing them that you care about them, you literally could pre-educate them as to the change that's coming up. You could see it. You're telling them about the trend that you're seeing. You could tell them that this is the platform you should be moving to, and then guess what? You can create a brand new service and move them right over to that platform, and you already have a built-in successful business. If you were that fitness expert and the competitor come in and try to compete with you on price, if you actually created a brand, this scenario wouldn't even happen because at the end of the day, your fans love you. Your fans trust you. You built that relationship. You built that rapport. And initially what happens is people really come to digest the content, but they stay for the person. They stay for the community. They stay for that relationship and that emotion they attach to that person. And so at the end of the day, you would not be having to compete on price. You would not even have to worry about that competitor because your customers are going to buy from you. And let's just say at some point your product actually become obsolete. This is a scenario that's realistic. At a certain point, you're going to kind of exhaust the marketplace. Let's just say after you make several $1 million with your product. And what you're probably going to need to do is pivot. It's a part of the process. It's a part of a real thing when you do business. However, you could pivot and create a new version of the product. It could be 2.0. It could be a brand new product where you come up with a new method. Or you could even pivot to something like creating your own supplement or creating your own fitness clothing line. The exact scenario I just gave you is a scenario of one of my favorite fitness YouTubers, Christian Guzman. I've been following him for several years now. I didn't actually follow him when he first started, but I went back and watched a lot of his original videos, and it's really actually neat to see his process. He literally was doing one-to-one personal training. He was actually catering to clients in order to make ends meet. And what was cool is in the very beginning, his studio where he was training his clients was literally smaller than my office here. It was about the size of a closet. You watched him go through the actual transitions because he was creating all this content and putting value out to the marketplace, right? He went and literally now he has a massive warehouse of a gym. He's transitioned from being the coach that trains people how to lose weight to now as a multi-millionaire with his own, energy drinks and his own clothing line. Now that you understand the importance of creating a brand online, let's talk about how to actually do that. The best way to create a brand, in my opinion, is to create content that delivers value to your marketplace. And here's why. You're never going to be able to compete on who has the best product because somebody is always going to be trying to take your cupcake. They're always going to be trying to actually innovate and create a better product. But what you can compete on is value. Let's actually define what a brand is. So it's either a name or it's a person that somebody feels emotionally connected to. Nike, Apple, Rolex, Mercedes, Lamborghini, Louis Vuitton, Donald Trump, The Rock. You see, these are all personal brands or brands that people are loyal to. They literally follow their content every single day. Whether you associated a positive emotion or a negative emotion, as I said, those different brands, I guarantee you there is an actual brand out there that you feel loyal to as well. The one common trait that every single one of those brands I just mentioned is they each create content on social media platforms every single day. Now, with that being said, I do not subscribe to the rehashed advice everybody loves to put out that you should be everywhere your audience is. When I look at somebody, regardless of what their niche is, regardless what their industry is, and they're pretty much on every platform, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, YouTube, blogging, podcasting, what I see is that most of those people do one or maybe two exceptionally well, and the rest of them they're completely half-assing. It takes a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of research in order to master one platform. So my personal advice is to pick one to dominate it before you add platform number two. The reality is you're probably a one-man or woman band doing everything yourself. You're probably juggling multiple roles, and this is incredibly important why you learn to focus and ignore extractions that take you away from the platform you're trying to master. Once you actually start making money, what you want to do is reinvest back into your business. You don't want to just spend all your money on things. You want to reinvest your money back into employees so that way you can grow your business, you can grow your influence, you can grow on different social media channels and actually start making more money without having to work yourself to death. I created a 7-figure business by really just focusing on blogging and email. That was it. That was my main focus. Now, this day and age, I'm working on YouTube. I'm literally going all in on YouTube on this channel, as well as I have a second channel. And then later this year, I'm actually putting a team in place to expand to Instagram and Pinterest. Now, the difference of what I'm doing is I'm working strategic. I'm not just taking my content from YouTube and then putting it over on Instagram and Pinterest because people respond different on those platforms. They don't all act the same, right? What you want to think about when you're doing something is why does this serve a purpose? How is this going to help my business over just adding more work to your plate? This is why people have burnout. This is why people feel overwhelmed. A lot of times they're doing things that they don't even need to be doing. All right, so we talked about the importance of building a brand and we talked about why you need to use content marketing in order to attract your audience. But what I want to close this out with is talking about why you should bet on your strengths. Now, my personal belief is that video is the best platform to connect with your audience on a deep level. So if you were going to ask me which platform I should focus on, I'm always going to answer you video. It's very easy to see right now that literally video is taking over the web. Right now it's projected in the next, I think, 5 years or so that 80% of the web is going to be video. It's pretty easy to see when you look at Facebook or you look at Instagram. We even have Instagram TV that just launched, and not including the mammoth YouTube. If you're scared right now and you're saying, Zach, I just don't think I can do video, my advice to you is to man or woman up. And here's why. There's literally teenagers out there that are willing to do this. They're hungry. They are willing to take your cookie and they're willing to do whatever it takes in order to be successful. If video terrifies you, I can absolutely sympathize with you. If you haven't heard me talk about this on this channel before or any of my social media profiles, video just absolutely terrified me. The thought of doing video, it just made me all clammy and I'd get sweaty, and every time I'd hit the record button, I'd freak out. And it took me over 30 days of shooting videos to do anything. I literally remember even getting drunk. I got vodka and I'm like, and that was it. I couldn't get a single word out. And it was because of the thought that video is just people are going to judge me. They're going to say mean things or they get to see my flaws. But what I did is I stuck with it. I knew that all successful people I was looking at, they were doing video. I could see all the people that were making millions of dollars a year. They were doing video, and that told me that I had to see this through. I had to do it. I had to master the skill. And to this day, I'm still focused on mastering the skill. With that being said, if you're just still like you want to punch me in the face because I'm telling you should do video, my suggestion for you is to pick another platform. Bet on your strengths. Pick something you can see yourself sticking with. Pick something you can see yourself being consistent with over a long period of time. Maybe this is Instagram. I don't know. Maybe it's Snapchat. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's blogging. Maybe it's Facebook. It really doesn't matter, but what really matters is you pick the platform you can see yourself going all in on, something you can see yourself doing over the long term. The underlining message here is that you pick something that you will do until. You know, I repeat this line in so many different videos that I create on so much of my social media content, and it's because it's the biggest lesson I've learned in business is that whatever you do, there is no such thing as getting rich quick. You have to prepare for that moment to get rich quick, and you do that by doing something consistently over a long period of time. You know, right now there's people on Instagram that are making millions of dollars a year, and they don't even show their face. So the platform doesn't matter. It's not going to be a thing that if you don't do video, you can't be successful. However, I do think that it helps your ability to be successful, but it doesn't matter. Pick the thing that you can go all in on. Pick the thing that you know is your platform that you want to do, and then bet on your strengths. And with that being said, that's all I got. That's a wrap. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you'd smash that like button because it helps me reach more people. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, I will see you in the next video.